All right, so many thanks indeed. Welcome back. We're focusing on the health sector in the country and, of course, that versus devolution. What exactly is happening? To tell us more about that is Dr. Sultani Matendechero. He's the Secretary General, Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union. Welcome to the Power Breakfast Show.
Thank you.
Of course, because of time, we'll just go straight to the matter.
Yeah.
So far, the Transitional Authority has already started the process of transferring health workers' pay to the county governments. Yeah. You're against that, so far.
Actually, what we are saying as a union is that we understand that health has been devolved in the new dispensation, and there are many functions that are going to benefit from that kind of devolution, functions of health. But there are other very crucial functions which we feel that even if they will be devolved at the end of the day, then it has to be done very carefully. And case in point, we are talking about the pay for health workers. Because even the Transitional Authority, when you look at the acts that define how we are going to move towards devolution of functions, a very important thing is that stakeholders must be involved. Another important thing is that the county governments must develop capacity to handle those functions. Now, we are at a situation where the county governments have not even instituted certain institutions like the cabinets. Some of them have not even been vetted. The county public service boards are not in place. Now we are seeing a situation where the pay for health workers is already being devolved or even transferred to the county governments before we have the structures that can institute it. Now what are we seeing? Because if these things are being sneaked and being rushed into the counties, what are we seeing? Because we are seeing foul play. Very soon you are going to have health workers. The salaries are not coming, they are delaying, maybe they're even being reduced, because these salaries are coming from national government to the county governments so that they can be transferred to the health workers. These counties have not yet even started generating their own revenue. So what we are seeing is that money which is supposed to go to salaries is being put in a kitty that is now going to be faced with new priorities, where the counties might find that there's more urgent things to be done.
So what are you fighting? Are you fighting the transition or the principle?
The principle is okay.
The principle is fine.
Yeah, but the timing is bad, because we are being thrown into the counties when they are absolutely not ready to handle our pay.
Are you the only one?
We are seeing
I thought the same will happen to all the devolved functions, that the money is going to go there.
Now,
it's not only health.
Yeah, actually, that is one of the points that we are concerned about. Yes. Because when it comes to pay, it is only health that is being rushed into the counties next month. Even sports has not been devolved yet, because the functions are not yet ready. But healthcare has been devolved. And what we are seeing is that, in fact, we are getting information that there might be some kind of politics that is being introduced into this whole thing, so that let us rush with the devolution of healthcare and even the pay of the workers. We create chaos in the whole industry. Then after that, we'll start saying, okay, look, healthcare has, the devolution of healthcare has failed. So that we start saying devolving functions is hurting people and things like that. But we are saying that don't use healthcare for politics. Healthcare is a very, very essential service. And if you experiment with healthcare, the result is one. People will die, people will suffer, and many of us are not going to be able to live to see the results of that experiment. So what we are saying as a union is that at this time, when we can still be able to reverse it, because already Transitional Authority has rushed through it, they have already instructed Treasury to release the funds to the counties, but now that is being discussed. It is in the budget. It is being discussed in Parliament. Our plea is to the parliamentarians, and we are already trying to talk to them, that as they are discussing this, they should return that money to national level so that they allow the counties to develop capacity to pay health workers. Then and only then they can transfer the money to the counties.
Now, in an interview just 2 days ago on Capital FM, the chairman, Kinuthia Omwangi, Transitional Authority, actually remained adamant that the decentralization of healthcare is inevitable, and that would include health workers' terms of pay. You don't see any wisdom in that?
We don't refuse that eventually we want to improve healthcare. And even me, I envision, as a very major stakeholder, I envision a situation where we should have county referral hospitals in the future. We should have systems running so that counties are semi-autonomous and they are able to improve provision of healthcare so that it reaches everyone. But look at the way in which it is being done. When you start throwing health workers into non-functional systems, what are you trying to expect? So we are not saying that, you see, we are trying to be portrayed as if we are resisting devolution. No, we are not, because the new constitution is based on devolution. But we are saying do it well, because the County Governments Act of 2012 and the Transition to Devolved Governments Act of 2012, they lay down very clear procedures that should be followed as you devolve functions. Now, all those procedures, all of them, have been overlooked by the Transitional Authority. I even tried to get audience with them. I wrote to Kinuthia Wamwangi and told him, let us talk about this because you are not involving stakeholders. The Constitution demands public participation in some of this implementation. We have been completely snubbed. I have written, I have called. We have never been invited to Transition Authority, and we are wondering why. Why is it that they are flouting the Constitution? They don't even want to talk to us. Who has been involved in these decisions to rush these devolved functions, very crucial ones, to the counties? And we are saying there are functions which can be devolved even now. Things like cost-sharing money, it is generated in the hospitals. Let the counties plan on that money at that level and see how they'll use it for development. Things like transfer of health workers within the county, those are things that can be done right now. You know, dispensing with disciplinary cases, it can be done at county level. But now transferring remuneration, personal emoluments to the counties, that is a wrong move. It is ill-timed. It is actually misadvised, and it is going to result in chaos. Mark my words.
So of course, you've mentioned about, you know, what will happen, but perhaps just give us the details. If the plan is sealed, what will happen to the health sector?
Of course, we are going to see a situation where health workers are not going to receive their pay on time. Some of them, even the pay is going to be reduced. Remember,
why will it not happen? Because the money is there. If Kindero, for instance, the governor of Nairobi, gets from the Minister of Health 300 million shillings to pay nurses, doctors, why would he want to put it in water?
Okay.
Or do something else? Or
that is now
buy cabbages.
That is the bone of contention. Because we are seeing a situation, even the other day, there were a lot of arguments about the allocation to the counties. Yes. You are giving counties money as a block, all right? So that you are increasing, putting in the pay package for health workers so that it looks like you are giving more money to the counties. But that money is not available to them. Now, as you are giving it, you are not giving clear instructions that this one is for health.
Must go to health.
It goes as a package. So when the counties sit down, it is up to them now to start looking at it and saying, okay, now health workers, they are supposed to get this, water is supposed to get this, cabbages are supposed to get this, and so on. Yeah. So, of course, they will have to reprioritize at some point. And we are seeing a situation where a few months down the line, and that one we will be back here talking about it when there are so many chaos in the country, you will find that health workers are being told, now there is no money, please go back to national government, because our employer right now still remains the Public Service Commission. So when the counties don't pay us, we don't have employment contracts with the counties. So whom are we going to complain to? Are we going to the governor, or are we going to national government? When we go to national government, they'll tell us, where is your pay point? So we are just going to have a lot of confusion, and that one is going to result into a lot of suffering. The people who are going to suffer most are the poor people who depend on the public health institutions for treatment. The Kinuthia Wamwangis of this country are not going to suffer because when they fall sick, they go to private hospitals, they go abroad. But the poor people are the ones who are going to suffer a lot. And that's why we are saying the parliamentarians should salvage our people, and the Kinuthia Wamwangis should immediately contact us so that we sit down and talk as stakeholders, so that we avert a crisis that they are trying to create in this country.
Now, there are a couple of things that, of course, apart from that issue of the transitional authority, there were certain demands that you actually had given to the new administration. For instance, you challenged the new administration to implement the budgetary allocation of at least 15% of the national budget to health, to the health sector. Secondly, there was also you wanted the health cabinet slot given to a person with requisite medical qualifications. So far, where are you at? Are you satisfied?
Okay, regarding the allocation of
15%.
15%, this is something that was discussed at a very high level, and it was seen to be the minimum that African governments need to give to health. Remember, countries like Rwanda, which are now doing very well in health, better than even us, and yet they were just in war the other day, are already allocating 18% to healthcare. And you can see how well they are doing. They have retained their personnel, and they are doing very well. Their hospitals are going very fine. Now, we are seeing a situation where in Kenya, the allocation to health is being reduced. The definite allocation that we can see that has been put into health is 2.8%. You see? Last year we were complaining about 5%. Then they are saying the rest is going to be taken to counties as a package. So who is fooling who? Because when this money goes to counties, I know of a county which had allocated 50 million to health for the whole year. Because they don't even understand what that money is supposed to do. They think that it is just some little money, emoluments will be paid from a national level, so it's just money maybe to fill in with the drugs and so on. They don't understand that the whole function is now sitting on the county. And that is just an indication of what we are going to have. Now, instead of moving towards 15% as a minimum, we are going downwards. And you see, as even doctors, we were on strike in 2011. We were saying, no, we are being underpaid. We cannot continue like this. We were only 2,000. Then we got some allowances. The number has doubled since 2011 December because of the allowances. And we are even telling the government, we've presented a CBA to them. We are telling them, can you now equalize the pay with those countries to which our doctors are running to so that they can come back? And then we even have the number. Although we have 4,000 now, we need 40,000 doctors. So you can see the gap, the way it is so big. And that is why we need to move towards it faster. And that's why we really need to move towards 15%. The second thing, the reason why some of our members, of course, we had a section of our members coming out strongly to say that this time we really need a health professional, not necessarily a doctor, to occupy some of those higher positions, cabinet secretary, principal secretary. Because in the past, when we go there with our grievances, the topmost person in the ministry does not understand what we are talking about. When we go to say, can you pay registrars, they ask us, why do you want us to pay students? Because they don't even know what a registrar is. And you see, this devolution is also going to hurt that because no provision has been made for interns, because now the transition authority people think these are students who have finished school, so they are going to do internship. No provision has been made for training of specialists. So how are the county governments going to send people into training? We don't know how that is going to happen. So what we are saying is that if we have someone who understands, it's better. Although the other day we met the cabinet secretary, and he seems to be a very open-minded and receptive person. Personally, I have a lot of hope that we are going to work together towards solving some of the big problems that we have in the ministry, and I look forward to that. But what we are hoping is that as we move forward, we saw also the nomination of a permanent principal secretary, who is also not a medic. And we are really hoping that these people will be open-minded. We want to see how they will perform in their new roles, if they are going to be receptive, if they are going to engage us. But if they go the way of the transitional authority, which means just doing things without involving us, then I can assure you that our fears are going to be, they are going to come true. Because you're going to see a situation where things are being done, decisions are being made, which are hurting the sector instead of helping it.
Somebody feels that the reason why you people are complaining is that because the devolution is going to create more dispensaries, more health centers in the villages. That money will be given to those people there, the nurses and the clinical officers. You doctors who are here, your union is not there. That's why you are complaining, because that money will not get to you. It will go to those nurses.
Those are now
clinical officers.
Yeah, now Mutegi, those are the misconceptions that have been there. In fact, when I came today, I came with one of the national officials of the nurses union, Mr. Wandereva. Unfortunately, he was not able to attend the show. But we just wanted to showcase that we are now seeing that these machinations to try and give divided opinion among the health workers is what has been used to defeat our resolve. So now we have started speaking as one voice. The other day we even had a joint press conference, and we were talking against this transfer of money to the counties. Now, what we are saying is that we want that devolution to happen. Like me, if you asked me, if I was the cabinet secretary, this year immediately all dispensaries I would put under the county governments, so that they even start having a feel of how it means, because these are, they don't really have a lot of intrigues, they can be handled very well, and they can get experience. And as we continue...
Why then, no. Why won't you put the dispensary and health centers and the counties, but then the doctors?
You see, it has to be a stepwise thing. And that is why I want you to listen to me, because what I was going to say next is, after the county governments have seen, they have gotten introduced to how it feels to handle facilities, health facilities, then we can now move to the health centers and the lower level sub-district hospitals. You know, stepwise. That is what we are talking about. These things have to take time. And later, we can even have the district hospitals, the bigger ones, coming under the county governments, when we are satisfied that things are working. And even much later, we have even the provincial hospitals. By that time, maybe we have county referral hospitals, and it is a smooth transition. But now, when you put a provincial hospital under a county, now this provincial hospital has been serving the whole province. So this county already financing a provincial hospital might eat into a very big chunk of their budget. And you are not going to stop patients from the next county coming into this hospital here. So how is this county going to feel when the patients from the next county, that county is not using as much money to handle their small district hospital. So they're just coming here to benefit from your budget. And those are the chaos that we are talking about. We don't want to continue firefighting. We want to do it systematically and in a way that is going to be possible. And even the doctors, we want them to be deployed at those levels where the referral system will allow patients to see a doctor as soon as possible, so that we don't have patients coming to a doctor when they are already so sick, the complications are too much, and they cannot be helped. And if we can be able to do it systematically the way we are talking, then you will be able to see us realize that. And that's what we are talking about. Because even now, there are counties which are going to lack doctors, the marginalized ones. Today, even with the deployment being done at national level, we are still having problems with retaining doctors in some of the marginalized counties. So what happens when now it is absolutely free for a doctor to choose which county is going to be employed in and paid in? You'll have whole counties without doctors. Remember, we have 4,000 only against a need of 40,000. So you can imagine.
Dr. Sultani Matendechero there, talking about the health sector. And of course, he's the Secretary General, Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists, Dentists Union. It's been a great honor serving you here on the Power Breakfast Show this particular week. My name is Johnson Mwakazi. All the best. And of course, Dr. Sultani.
Thank you.
Blessed weekend. Let's meet next week as God wills.